Hey everybody, this is Fat Vel Kilmar, and welcome to Space Shuttle Mission 2007. Excuse me. Right now, I don't know if but if you're watching this video, you might be familiar with the program, or you might just be curious. As far as space shuttle simulators go, I believe this right now is the best one that's out there. Nobody's really made a lot of them that I'm aware of. I know there's some iPhone apps and that kind of thing, and they attempted to recreate it in the Orbiter program, which it's good. You just have to download and get a bunch of modifications. And as far as I'm aware, there's not a lot of as far as the vehicle is concerned, because the thing's got to run on autopilot when it's trying to get in orbit. And in the orbiter, you kind of have to do that manually, and plus the model of the shuttle, not everything is functional inside the cockpit. But yeah, this one's a little older. The graphics are pretty good. They're for the time and that kind of thing. And I know they're working on a next generation for this, but there's a lot of different missions you can do. As far as like building the space station, t- taking the Hubble up to orbit, repairing the Hubble, that kind of thing, and different videos. We'll get to that. Right now, we're just going to do the easiest one, which is STS-1, which is the first mission, space shuttle mission. Is carried out by Columbia on April 12th, 1981. The commanders John Young and Robert Crippen is the pilot. There is really no payload except for stuff they're using to monitor the shuttle itself during the maiden flight. And one of the things I should say is this was the first time they've ever sent a vehicle up into space manned for the first time. What that means is that all other past Apollo, Mercury, that they in Gemini, they sent it up unmanned first as a test flight. The problem with the shuttle is when it's coming back in the atmosphere, it's just not, you know, parachute's not coming out and it's not splashing down in the ocean. And it actually has to be flown by the commander onto the runway, and that's the only way it can happen. And the computer can't do that. So that is why they had to fly it manned for the first time. And I'm going to date myself. I don't really remember this launch, so I don't know if there's a whole lot of nail biting going on or not. I was just too young. By the time I got older, the space shuttle was it was so common that these guys weren't even wearing pressure suits until the Challenger disaster, which I do remember. I was in grade school. But after that they started treating them like astronauts again, and didn't realize that they weren't just flying an airline. So, all right, so we're gonna go ahead and go in here. We're gonna go to right here where it says launch T minus 1 hour 50 minutes. This is when the actual astronauts get into the shuttle. We won't sit through the whole hour and 50 minutes. Don't worry, we'll speed through time. And what I'll try to do, and I don't think I'll be able to do it until after the countdown hold, is try to add some actual audio from the mission. So here we go. We're outside of the shuttle here. A couple things real quick. This is not an accurate model of Columbia in 1981. Just going to say that because somebody's going to say something. Not trying to be a smartass or anything, but yes, I know the NASA emblem, the logo is incorrect. That's actually the most accurate one, the most up-to-date NASA logo. It did just have that crazy 80s, just said NASA, and that was it. And then on the right side, I believe it just said USA on it. It didn't have the flag on the wing there. But other than that, it's still got the white fuel tank, which external fuel tank, which I think at STS-3 they stopped painting it because they realized it was taking up a lot of weight that they could use elsewhere. But what we're going to go ahead and do, excuse me, is we're going to go ahead and just get inside the shuttle here. All right, I'm sitting in the commander's seat right there, and there is the pilot. What we're going to do, and all these panels do work. You just got to zoom in on them to get them to work. But what we're going to go ahead and do is we're going to run through the setting the Columbia up for launch. We will time warp through a lot of it, and then when we get to out of the 10-minute hold at T-minus 9 minutes, we will go ahead and sync it up with the actual flight. And so I probably will cut my audio off at that point and let the audio of the actual mission take over. And that way you can see how accurate this simulator is. So let's go ahead and just time warp here. Okay. I'm going to go ahead and turn on the communication system. Vox. This is on the commander side.
Columbia, this is Launch Control. Are you ready?
Columbia, loud and clear. Over.
Copy that. Columbia, out.
Okay. Let's time skip here, and they're going to have us do the same thing to the pilot.
Columbia, pilot, are you ready?
Roger that. Out.
Okay, we should have an board advisory check coming up here, I think. Skimming through a lot of this.
Columbia, ready for a board advisory check. Over.
Yeah, I was right.
Houston, Columbia, we confirm.
Alright, so I'm guessing what's going to come up next is the cabin vent check. I've done this too many times.
Columbia, this is Launch Control. Give me comms check.
No, comms check, that's right.
CDR.
Roger.
PL2.
Copy that.
I gotta tell you, I'm glad we only have 2 astronauts, because when you gotta run through 7 comm checks, it just takes a while. So... Okay, we're at T-minus 1 hour, 16 minutes and 20 seconds. And as soon as it'll let me time warp, we'll do it again. Yeah, and this is probably the...
Columbia, this is Launch Control. Side hatch is secure.
Alright, side
Columbia,
hatch
copy that.
is secure, and I believe the the guy, they call it the clean team, or they're in the clean room or whatever, those guys should be taking the elevator down and hopping on the bus and backing up. I got that name wrong, but maybe somebody can put it in the comments. It doesn't really matter as far as what that group is that wear the clean suits, the little white suits there.
Columbia, this is Launch Control. Close cabin vent.
Alright, we're going to close the cabin vent. We're going to get a master alarm, too.
Flight control. Columbia. Cabin pressure nominal. Over.
Flight control. Copy that.
Excuse me again. Alright. Running through. Now we're just past the hour mark for STS-1.
IMU alignment complete. We show 28 degrees, 36 minutes, 30.32 seconds north latitude, and 80 degrees, 36 minutes, 14.88 seconds west longitude. Columbia, over.
Wait, confirm. Columbia. Columbia, confirm boiler pressure on.
Roger, pressure
And
on
we're going to
boiler.
do the boiler pressure here.
Light control. We confirm boiler power on. Over.
Roger that. Columbia, out.
Just under 50 minutes in the countdown left.
Columbia, this is launch control. Over. Cabin vent, over.
Roger, cabin vent. Light control. Columbia, cabin vent complete.
What they're doing
Over.
is just
Copy, Columbia.
checking the cabin vent, and when it's all said and done, they'll be closed, and they'll be running off of the external O2, or internal O2 at that point.
Columbia, flight control, activate backup flight system.
Copy that. Backup flight system to enable.
Right, left keypad. If you guys are playing this, you just have to, when you're up here, all you have to do is hit the left shift button and it'll bring up the keypad instead of going down here, because then you can't see the screen. So it's easier just to do this. Alright, so we're going to go ahead and left keypad, item 25, and execute.
Light control. Ops 1 to BFS complete.
Columbia, wait confirm. Columbia, this is launch control. Over. Cabin vent.
We copy cabin vent to enable.
Close that one, open that side. Coming up on 30 minutes.
Light control. Columbia, cabin vent check complete.
Alright, so
Over.
it is now
Columbia,
going to be
copy.
closed. So cabin vent check is complete. And just a couple more things here.
Columbia, load op 1. Over.
Roger, Ops 1.
Alright. So we're programming the, I would guess you would call it the autopilot. So right keypad, Ops 101 Pro.
Ops 1, 0, 1, complete.
Spec 99 Pro. And then hit resume. Alright, so this should do it. Here, Ops 101 Pro on the left computer.
We confirm light plan loaded into OPS 1.
We copy Columbia.
Okay, we got 28 minutes and counting.
Columbia, go for main propulsion system power on.
Columbia, Roger, main propulsion system.
Powering up the main propulsion system. Now I want to say these arrows here help you out a lot. Okay, I think you can turn them off, but then you're going to have the flight manual and you're going to have to find all this stuff. And you don't have a lot of
This
time to
is
do it.
Columbia. We confirm main propulsion system to enable.
Copy that, Columbia.
There's certain other things a lot harder in the game and have to worry about that. So this is the easiest mission by far. We're coming up on that hold. That'll be at 9
Columbia,
minutes.
ready for aboard advisory jet.
Roger, check. Columbia, Houston, Roger, abort advisory check.
There's our board advisory check, and then we're going to go ahead and clear that out. There we go. Yeah. I think we'll hit the boilers here, and we already did the boilers.
Columbia, this is launch control. T-minus 9 minutes and hold.
Yep.
Columbia, copy that, out.
Okay, T-minus 9 minutes and holding. Alright, so now we're going to be in that oh man, sorry about that. Now we're going to be in that 10-minute hold, and I'm not going to make you guys sit there through that, so I'll go ahead and fast forward through that, and we'll come back. When we come back, it should sync up with the actual Columbia mission, so you'll be able to listen to that, and I'll keep it quiet until we're we get out into kind of an orbit when we jettison that external fuel tank. So we'll see you guys in a little bit.
And counting. The launch events are being controlled by the ground launch sequencer now. That has been initiated, and that will be in control up to T-minus 25 seconds when they switch to the onboard redundant set launch sequencer. The ground launch sequencer is a part of the launch processing system and operates by relaying commands to the orbiter's onboard computers, which then report back to the launch processing system that the commands have been executed. The primary job of the computers is to check that all of the launch commit criteria, such as propellant loads, temperatures, pressures, and other measurements, are satisfactory. The primary chase aircraft have taken off. A third T-38 will take off at the T-minus 5-minute mark. The timing of this plane is such a tight window that a 15-second delay would mean that they would not be in the proper position at all.
This is launch control. Track crew access arm active.
We confirm.
Go for APU, restart.
Minus 7 minutes, 52 seconds, and counting.
Flight control. Columbia. APU pre-start complete.
Columbia, wait confirm.
This is the final arm which was to be moved out of the way to provide for the orbiter to clear the tower properly. This may be a very interesting launch to watch from the standpoint that the orbiter is able to translate slightly horizontally as it begins to lift off, and it also does a roll maneuver which will place the orbiter sort of on its back as it goes towards the proper inclination to the equator. T-minus 7 minutes, 7 seconds, and counting. T-minus 7 minutes and counting. And we have retraction of the orbiter access arm, beginning to move back first away from the orbiter and then to swing away. This was the walkway attached to the service structure and used by the crew to walk to the orbiter. The crew has been advised to lower their helmet visors. Very slow movement by the orbiter access arm. T-minus 6 minutes, 29 seconds, and counting.
Do an APU pre-start.
The crew is beginning the APU pre-start. The start begins at the 5-minute point in the countdown. T-minus 6 minutes, 15 seconds, and counting. The APUs are turbine devices fueled by hydrazine, which provides hydraulic power to change the angle of the engines and the flight surfaces on the orbiter. T-minus 5 minutes, 59 seconds, and counting. Pilot Bob Crippen had begun that APU pre-start, which started about 48 seconds from now. The development flight instrumentation, which measures the stresses on the orbiter during flight, have been turned on, and recorders store information for playback after landing.
5:30.
5 minutes, 30 seconds. Mark.
Roger.
And
Transmitting it. Mark.
And
Pilot Bob Crippen has
All
signified the
recorders
auxiliary power units are ready to be started.
flight to your stored program
T-minus
command.
5 minutes, 15 seconds, and counting.
Columbia, flight control, go for APU, art.
We copy.
Coming up on the 5-minute point.
Verify all
4,
current
3,
execute.
2, 1. Mark. T-minus 5 minutes and counting.
APU start.
We
APU start.
go for APU start.
starts in work.
And
And
start is in work.
PDRE,
This is the start sequence. The final chase plane is taken off from Patrick Air Force Base.
Columbia,
T-minus 4
flight
minutes,
control,
42
APU,
seconds
looking
and
good.
counting.
Over.
Columbia, looking good.
T-minus
Columbia, you are out. Internal power.
Copy that. Internal power.
Once we get the APU start, we have a total of 12 minutes of hydrazine supply for running the APUs prior to a liftoff. Everything going very smoothly in this count.
Start is complete.
The APU start is complete.
This is launch control. APU jet deployed.
Roger, flight control.
As preparation for main engine ignition, the main fuel valve heaters have been turned off. T-minus 3 minutes, 57 seconds and counting. The final helium purge on the shuttle main engine has been started in preparation for engine start. The liquid oxygen
Columbia, initiate hydraulic jet, over.
preparation
Roger,
for
flight
pressurization
control.
of the tanks for the launch. T-minus 3 minutes, 35 seconds and counting. The Elevon speed brake and rudder are being moved through a pre-programmed pattern to assure that they'll be ready for use in flight. T-minus 3 minutes, 20 seconds and counting. The shuttle is now on internal power. However, the fuel cells are still receiving their fuels from the ground support system for one more additional minute. Coming up on T-minus 3 minutes, T-minus 3 minutes and counting. The engine gimbal, our movement check is underway to assure they're ready for flight control. T-minus 2 minutes, 52 seconds. The LOX valve on the external tank has been closed and pressurization has begun. After the tank is pressurized, the hold capability is limited to 3 minutes, 36 seconds. T-minus 2 minutes, 40 seconds and counting. The fuel cell ground supply of oxygen and hydrogen has been terminated and the vehicle is using its onboard supply. T-minus 2 minutes, 25 seconds and counting. T-minus 2 minutes, 15 seconds. The pressure in the LOX tank is at flight pressure. Coming up on just 2 minutes away from launch.
Flight control, Columbia, APU, power off. Go ahead.
We copy. Flight control.
The hydrogen vent valve has been closed and flight pressurization is underway. T-minus 1 minute.
Columbia, flight advisor, please.
We copy. Flight control.
Chuck Hannon is just
Columbia, flight control. APU, power off. Inhibit.
Copy that, Columbia.
1 minute, 35 seconds and counting. T-minus 1 minute, 20
Columbia,
seconds.
now at T-minus 80 seconds and counting. You are go for launch.
As we
Roger that,
prepare
flight
for
control.
ignition. T-minus 1 minute, 10 seconds and counting. Liquid hydrogen tank is at flight pressure.
1 minute.
Minus 1 minute, marked and counting. The firing system for the sound suppression water will be armed just a couple seconds from now. It has been armed. T-minus 45 seconds and counting. T-minus 40 seconds and counting. The development flight instrumentation recorders are on. T-minus 35 seconds. We're just a few seconds away from switching.
30 seconds and counting.
Now at T-minus 30 seconds and counting.
27 seconds.
Roger,
Launch
out.
for redundant set sequencer start. T-minus 20 seconds and counting. T-minus 15, 14, 13,
10.
T-minus 10.
T-minus 10 would go for main engine start. 7, 6, we have main engine start. 3, 2, 1, booster ignition and liftoff.
Columbia.
First Space Shuttle, and the shuttle has cleared the tower. Back aero program. Go. Roger, roll.
Columbia, this is launch control. Right, engines looking good. Right, APU looking good.
Columbia, we confirm.
Roger, roll complete.
Columbia, Houston, go throttle down.
Roger, Houston, go throttle down.
Columbia, Houston, you're go at 40.
34, Max Q-bar 88.
Roger.
Columbia, Houston, go throttle up.
Houston, Columbia, go throttle up. This is Columbia, the propulsion system, 100%.
Columbia, Houston, you're going throttle up.
Houston, Columbia, Max Q, over.
Columbia, Houston, wait confirm, Max Q.
Roger, Columbia, on the nice ride. You're lofting a little bit. You'll probably be slightly high at staging.
1 minute 45 seconds coming up on go, no go.
Columbia, you're negative seats.
That call up says that Columbia, the altitude is too high for ejection seat use.
Stand by for SRB separate.
2 minutes 4 seconds, standing by for SRB SEP confirmation.
Roger on the SEP, Columbia.
Mark, 2 minutes 20 seconds, confirm solid rocket booster SEP. Mark, 2 minutes 30
Altitude 1,900 feet.
Forward guidance is converging in program. Columbia is now steering for precise window in space for main engine cutoff. Mark, 2 minutes 40 seconds. Columbia now 39 nautical miles in altitude, 42 nautical miles downrange. Mark, 2 minutes 50 seconds.
Columbia, you're looking a little hot. All your calls are a little early.
Okay. Columbia now has 2 engine rotating.
Roger.
3 minutes. Young and Crippen really moving out now. Velocity now reading 6,200 feet per second. Mark, 3 minutes 15 seconds. Columbia now 51 nautical miles in altitude, 66 nautical miles downrange. Velocity now reading 6,500 feet per second. Mark, 3 minutes 30 seconds. Columbia now 55 nautical miles in altitude, 78 nautical miles downrange. Mark, 3 minutes 40 seconds. Standing by for a return status check and mission control by Flight Director Neil Hutchinson. Columbia given a green to continue.
Altitude 2,600 feet.
3 minutes 55 seconds, standing by for a Prestamico, which says Columbia should lose 1 engine.
Columbia, stand by. Prestamico.
Columbia continues flying forward, coming up on
Mark,
the return.
Prestamico.
Roger, Prestamico. Mark, 4 minutes 8.
Columbia, stand by for negative return. Mark, negative return. And your evap is good.
Mark, 4 minutes 25. 5 seconds with that. With that call up from Capcom Brandenstein, Columbia now committed to space travel. Young and Crippen can no longer turn around and return to the launch site.
Columbia, Houston, we're showing both ohms PC transducers off scale high.
Mark, 4 minutes 45 seconds. The flash evaporator is activated on board the cool Columbia.
set my scale low here.
Roger, stand by. We'll keep an eye on it.
Mark, 4 minutes 56 seconds. Columbia is lofting early in the second stage, is now being taken out of the trajectory as programmed. Columbia
11,000
74
feet per
nautical
second.
miles altitude, 181 nautical miles.
What a view, what a view.
Glad you're enjoying it.
Mark, 5 minutes 15 seconds. Columbia now 75 nautical miles altitude, 202 nautical miles downrange. Velocity now reading 11,000 feet per second. A status check and mission control by Flight Director Neil Hutchinson.
Columbia, Houston, your go at 5:30. Me go 8+34.
Mark, 5 minutes 40 seconds. That call up from Capcom Brandenstein says that Columbia's trajectory, navigation, and engine performance are
Roger,
good.
Columbia, reading you loud and clear.
Okay, you're clear, a little weak.
Mark 5 minutes 55
And
seconds.
Columbia, we just switched over Bermuda. Boy, should be getting better here in a second.
Okay, that's good.
6 minutes. Columbia now 76 nautical miles in altitude, 280 nautical miles downrange, velocity now reaching 13,000 feet per second.
Columbia, Houston, could we have the cryo heaters, please? And Columbia, your single engine rota.
Mark 6 minutes 25 seconds. That call up from Capcom Brandenstein says that if two-engine failure occurred, Columbia is capable of an emergency landing at Rotor Naval Air Station Space. Mark 6 minutes 40 seconds. Columbia pitching over now, diving to increase velocity, decrease altitude, giving Columbia her most favorable attitude.
69 feet per second.
Miles in altitude, 373 nautical miles downrange. Velocity
Columbia,
speed,
Houston, single engine press to Miko.
per second.
Over.
Single engine press to Miko. We copy.
Standing by for
7,000 feet per second.
Press to Miko call up from Capcom Brandenstein.
Feet per second.
Columbia, your single engine, press for Miko.
Mark 7 minutes 20 seconds. That report says the young Intrepid can achieve orbital insertion even if two engines go out. Mark 7 minutes 30 seconds. Columbia 67 nautical miles in altitude, 485 nautical miles downrange. G-force is building for young Intrepid now up to 3 Gs. Mark 7 minutes 45 seconds. Columbia's main engine slowly being throttled back now. Should be throttled at 65% at 6 seconds before main engine cutoff. Status check in the control center.
Columbia, Houston, your go at 8.
Mark 8 minutes 4 seconds.
Looking good.
Columbia now 63 nautical miles in altitude, 606 nautical miles downrange. Mark 8 minutes 15 seconds. Columbia now 63 nautical miles in altitude, 650 nautical miles downrange. Standing by now.
Columbia, Houston, prepare for Miko. Columbia, Houston, go throttle down.
We copy. Go throttle down. Houston, Columbia, Miko on schedule.
We copy, Columbia, Miko on schedule.
Confirm shutdown. Columbia, the
Columbia, Houston, external tank separation armed.
We copy, Houston.
External tank separation.
Houston, Columbia, external tank separation complete. Over.
Roger that, Columbia. Columbia, Houston, you are go for OMS burn.
Roger, OMS burn in progress.
And that's all it takes is about 9 minutes, start to finish, to get out of the Earth's atmosphere. And that's it. So we'll go ahead and climb back in and start all these procedures to get us into a good stable orbit.